All right, we're going to do a two-column solution with this figure right here. And as you can see, the figure has two parallel lines on it, which means all of those relationships, angle relationships with parallel lines and transversals will probably come into play when we're doing this problem. So I'm going to start by just writing my givens. So I have that XBD is 132. I have the measure of angle XBC, which is this one here, is equal to 80. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down this the parallel thing indicated on the figure. So I have, this is going to be line BD is parallel to GW or GF or WG, whatever you want to call it, but I'm going to call it GW. And then that's with transversal HC. And so that was all given to me. Part of it was stated right here, and then the other part I got from the labeling on the diagram indicating that these are parallel. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I guess I'm going to start with what they gave me, which was the XBC line here, or XBC angle. So XBC, which is this one up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the measure of angle XBC plus the measure of angle CBD is equal to the measure of angle XBD. So I have two of these angles that they gave me, and what I did was I said, you know what can I do with this information? I have XBC and XBD with a base, so I could figure out this one right here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute here, and I'm going to substitute here. And the reason I'm able to set this up, of course, is the angle addition postulate. And then all I'm going to do is substitute. That one is 80. Measure of angle CBD is equal to, and that one's 132. So substitution. And that would mean the measure of angle CBD is equal to 52 degrees. Oops, that looks like a 0. Okay, so that's going to throw another value into the mix that I can use. So I'll just highlight that. One thing I want to point out is a lot of times when I'm grading these, what I notice is people will have the givens down, but a lot of times they're jumping just to these equations, okay? So notice this is just sort of back and forth where you're writing an equation out and then you're doing substitution. A lot of times people will just set this up because they go, well, you know, and they'll write angle addition postulate next to it, but the problem is when you do that, you've done two things at one time. So just be wary of that. You shouldn't be substituting unless you've set up some kind of relationship first. So I just wanted to point that out. Okay, so let's get to it then. So I know that this one over here, this CBD angle, since it's this setup with the parallel lines and the transversal, I actually know all these angles here are the same. And that means there's a lot of directions I can go from here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on this one right here because I'm after this guy over here. So I'm going to write the measure of angle CBD is equal to the measure of angle GFH. Okay, so that is, those are alternate exterior theorem. And oh, this one over here, I forgot to put subtraction property of equality. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to substitute. I know this one here is also equal to 52. So now that I know that's 52, I know that that angle plus its supplement over here, HFW, is equal to 180 degrees. No, this was sub, and then over here, this one would be the, this is a linear pair. It's a definition of a linear pair. These two are on the same line. So they're supplementary and they equal 180. So now I'm just going to go ahead and substitute that into there. So there it is. Everything makes sense. Alright, and then I just have this. And 180 minus 52 is 128 degrees. And that was, again, subtraction property of equality. And so I'm done. I did what I was set out to do. One other thing before I go is I just wanted to point out that a lot of times when you get this, there's more than one way to do it. So one of the ideas I get from kids is that they think that this is the one answer. There's really not. Once I figured this angle out here, I could have actually, if I wanted to, I could have figured out this angle. In other words, I could have done what I did right here with these two angles. And then once I knew that, I could have used the alternate, or this would actually be corresponding to figure out that one. So there's actually more ways than one way to do it. What happens is you end up with the same stuff, it's just sort of in a different order. That's really the only difference. But yes, there is more than one way to do it.